could be really great, and it could end up being. So we'll see. Okay, open up your books to 32 student work. We'll go over these questions, or the answers to these questions. I'm going to need my other. I'm going to need my other glasses, so I will go back and get those. First question says, what emotions do you think Judas may have been feeling as he stood in the crowd that was arresting Jesus? What was he feeling? Guilt. Felt guilty?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. What else? What?
Shame.
Shamed? Or ashamed? Think he felt regret? Probably did. And we know from Scripture that he hung himself. So certainly he had some sort of guilt, regrets, something from it. I think it'd be just as interesting to ask what the disciples thought when Judas walked up with that. Betrayal, yeah. And maybe like, oh, that's why Jesus, what you do quickly. Yeah, yeah, seriously. If you were one of the soldiers, what would have amazed you the most about the scene in the garden?
Willingly Jesus went with them.
Yeah. Why isn't he fighting back? I mean, I think that would have amazed me is like he says, I am, and they all fall over, right? Well, that was proof that he could have just walked away, and he had walked away from many other confrontations without anyone arresting him. Why did he let them? Yeah, I'd have, that would be probably one of the things I would have thought of too. What else? About the healing of Malchus's ear. I mean, you would have seen Jesus do a lot of cool miracles, but there's this guy that's part of the band wanting to arrest him, and he still heals them. And certainly everybody falling over when he says, I am.
We know what the guard did after Jesus healed the
The servant. No, I don't. I don't know what he did. They might have become a follower of Christ. Who knows? But he was a high priest servant. That would have been. What might have caused Peter to deny that he knew Jesus? Self-preservation is a pretty strong motivator, right? And Jesus was arrested, and he probably thought, I'm going to get arrested too. Now, this says that he might have been angry at Jesus, which is possible, I suppose, for allowing himself to be arrested. Why did you let them arrest you? And that's possible. But I think fear trumps anger every time. And I think that's the more likely scenario. He's afraid. What would you have thought about Pilate's conversation with Jesus if you were a Roman in his court? So let's say you were a guard or you were someone standing nearby. What would you have thought about that interchange between Jesus and Pilate? Yeah, it would have sounded really odd, right? I'm sure Pilate had never had a similar sort of conversation have been arrested. Think about similar, so people have been brought to Pilate because they're guilty of something. What do you think the standard response of the person who has been charged with something would be? I didn't do it, or defend themselves in some way. I think they would have been thinking, why isn't he defending himself? It's almost like he's trying to get crucified. He knew it had to be. But I think that would have sounded very foreign to the ears of the people around Pilate, that he wasn't even trying to get out. They're probably thinking, you understand you're going to get crucified, right? But he didn't defend himself, essentially. I mean, he does answer Pilate, and when Pilate says, are you a king? And he says, I am, and you will see the king. But he didn't really defend himself. How would you describe Jesus' answers to Pilate and Caiaphas? How are the answers to the two similar or different? Let me ask it to you this way: Who got more of an answer from Jesus, Pilate or Caiaphas? Pilate did. Pilate got more of an answer from Jesus about who he is and about what he would do. Why? Why did Jesus say more to the Roman governor than he said to the former high priest? Okay, so possibly because the governor was more willing to consider his innocence, right? Or to accept his innocence. What's the difference between the two men? Pilate is what? A Roman governor. Caiaphas is what? A Jewish former high priest. I think that Jesus told more to Pilate because he wanted to tell Pilate more of who he was. Pilate was not aware, really, of who he was. Caiaphas should have been. Caiaphas knew the scriptures. Caiaphas knew that Messiah was to come. He refused. Caiaphas refused to see that Jesus was Messiah. So Caiaphas was rebelling against God. He knew Psalm 22, which reads like a description of Messiah's crucifixion. He ordered it. He ordered Psalm 22. He and Annas, I mean Pilate did, but Caiaphas and Annas whipped up the crowd to get Jesus crucified for the fulfillment of Psalm 22. Now, honestly, nothing was going to stop the crucifixion. It had to happen. His hour had come. This was God's way to save humanity, and so nobody was going to stop it, no matter what they did. But I think Jesus told Pilate more because he was not aware of who Christ was. Caiaphas should have known. Is Jesus defending his innocence? No, not really. Not really. Why? And he's not just allowing it to happen. He's willing it to happen. He's in charge of what's going on here. So then the last question is, why would he answer the way he did? Why wouldn't he defend himself? I think it's exactly what we just said, that he didn't want to defend himself aggressively because he knew this was his father's plan. He willingly accepted that plan. He said, nobody takes my life from me. I willingly lay it down. So, I think he was, I think it wouldn't make sense for him to defend himself aggressively and get out of the charges because that was what God had planned. Okay, any questions on any of this? Those of you watching this, sorry, you don't get to go outside. But you're outside. Try. Run fast, throw far, jump far. We're gonna go sit outside.
Bye.